Fox News Alert, the commander-in-chief's just been presented military options that would knock the snot out of the enemy.
Do we want to go and just blast the hell out of them and finish him forever, or do we want to try and make a deal? I mean, those are the options.
Do you want to go blast the hell out of them?
I'd prefer not.
Forever?
On a human...
The president spent the afternoon consulting his top national security team in the Situation Room. Vance, Rubio, Hegseth, and the CIA director all there. As CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper and General Raisin Kane briefed them on strike packages for one final blow. The session lasted 45 minutes. He was reportedly presented with strike options on infrastructure, a ground assault on the Strait, and keeping his cards close to his vest.
Are you considering new strikes on Iran?
Why would I tell you that?
The war just hit day 60, and the press is telling the president, time's up.
Mr. President, it's day 60. Are you going to seek congressional authorization for...
Well, no other country has ever done it. It's never been, as you know, most people consider it totally unconstitutional. Also, we had a ceasefire, so done it. We're in the midst of a big victory. This is a victory like we haven't had since Venezuela.
Trump sent a letter to Congress today telling him no need for an extension. The ceasefire's already terminated the war. Hegseth and General Kane have spent all week on the Hill, testifying and briefing senators behind closed doors. Of course, Dickie B's already leaking.
I do, as well as other sources, that an imminent military strike is very much on the table, which is deeply disturbing.
What about classified? Does Dick Blumenthal not understand? Anyway, the firepower we have in the region isn't a secret. After a 3-week timeout, CENTCOM now has twice the amount of combat power that it did at the start of the war. We have John Finn, a guided missile destroyer, have been conducting live fire exercises in the Indian Ocean. They're ready and lethal. Now the Super Stallion is in the region. It's one of the largest and heaviest lift choppers in our arsenal. Here it is preparing to land on the USS Tripoli. Retired 4-star General Jacqui says it's time to finish the job.
I think option one is return and finish what we started. We spent once and for all, complete that mission that we've given to them. And we can go through a list of targets, but there's leadership targets out there, there's ballistic missiles out there, there's the remnants of the nuclear program that's out there, there's drone storage that's out there, and energy infrastructure, etc. There's plenty of targets that we have assigned that we want to finish.
Iran's starting to buckle under the blockade. They just sent us a new remained. Now, they definitely want to talk and said they're willing to talk Monday. They also want Trump to tone down his rhetoric. Trump's threats are driving him crazy, and they can't tell what's going to happen next. And they want to talk about opening up the Strait now. And then they'll talk about the nukes, if we drop sanctions and the blockade. But it still sounds kind of like your typical Iranian haggling. The president...
That expression, it's true. But they're not coming through with the kind of deal that we have to have, and we're going to get this thing done properly. We're not going to leave early and then have the problem arise in 3 more years.
The Iranians, as squirrely as they are still signaling that a deal is possible. And this just in, Trump just gave Kushner and Witkoff another weapon. Nick Stewart from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies is a hawk and is adamant about removing the uranium from the regime. But we're also dealing with an underground madhouse.
As you know, it's a very disjointed, unfriendly leadership, unfriendly to each other. They're not getting along. They're very, very confused by what's happened because essentially most of their military has been wiped out. But we just had a conversation with Iran. Let's see what happens. They've been very disjointed, very argumentative with each other. They come back, one says one thing, one says another. They're very confused.
We're getting peace proposals, but they're not coming from the gay Ayatollah. He isn't actually in charge. The military's making him put out statements like Baghdad Bob. No Lip says our bases are paper tigers. Okay, Lips. The moderates, they want a deal. Embargo is an act of war, and they want to start shooting. They're either bluffing, have a death wish, or just want to jack up oil prices again to squeeze 47. But even though they're on their knees, they're still showing a little creativity. Kamikaze dolphins. The Persians want to strap mines to dolphins to weaponize the Strait. Don't tell PETA. These rogues are desperate, and now the Pentagon is using AI to hunt down Iranian mines. The president says it's basically already over.
The blockade has been unbelievable, powerful, 100%. It's been actually unbelievable. If we left right now, we had a great victory, but we're not doing that.
The Pentagon says the blockade's already cost the Iranians $5 billion. And if you want to block a cheese in Iran, you have to be a millionaire. It costs 7 million rial just to buy some smoked Gouda. You want a new car? That'll be 25 billion rial, billion with a B. But we hear the camel business is booming. If a rickety old sedan costs that much, how much do you think it's going to cost the Iranians to rebuild their whole country? Operation Economic Fury slapping sanctions on any ships paying tolls to these pirates. He's also sanctioning their currency exchanges, these financial rackets that move oil revenue to the Iranian military and their proxies. And guess what currency the Iranians use for oil sales? The Chinese yuan. So Beijing, not happy. And in 2 weeks, Xi's
Giving the blockade.
No, to China, it's going to be amazing. The visit with China and Chairman Xi, that's going to be great. We have the trip with China coming up, and I think it'll be an amazing event.
If we don't have a deal in 2 weeks, the president's going to be sitting across the room from the Chi-Coms with the blockade still in full effect. And it's made to nudge the Ayatollah to the table and look like a serious world power, because the embargo is blocking his cheap supply of illicit Persian oil. And the other tankers headed towards China, they're all getting scared of getting seized. They're playing cat and mouse with the 7th Fleet, taking longer and pricier routes. Now, while we're sticking up Xi's favorite gas station, we have them surrounded. Marine scouts are conducting live fire training in South Korea. U.S. Marines have been training shoulder to shoulder. U.S. Special Forces have been executing parachute operations with our Filipino friends. The Japanese are also inching closer. For the first time, the Japanese Army's highest operational command unit, alongside the U.S. Marines, are doing drills on southwestern islands near Taiwan. If you're China, it's a little too close for comfort. In a year, we've kicked them out of next door with loaded rifles. The U.S. dollar is dominant, and Venezuela was a home run. Chevron says America's making mucho dinero.
Venezuelan government seems to be very interested in more U.S. investment in the country. A number of different companies have been down there taking a look at things. This would be good for Venezuela. It would be good for the United States.
Exxon and ConocoPhillips are also back in Venezuela. They said it would never happen. Landing in Iran, the president guarantees a golden age.
There is so much oil out there. It's pent up. It's locked up in the Strait of Hormuz, a beautiful place. It's, I think they have close to 400 ships loaded up with oil. These people tried to hold up our country for years and years, the world, by closing up the Strait of Hormuz. When all of that stuff comes out, you're going to see
prices are high. There's no doubt about it. But he's promising relief right around the corner. You just have to trust him to keep his word. The president knew Operation Epic Fury was a risk, but he says it was worth it.
I did something that was, I don't know, foolish, brave, but it was smart. I would do it again, but I thought the numbers would be much worse. I thought the stock market would go down much more. I thought the oil prices would go up much more.
Today, new all-time highs for the S&P and NASDAQ, and oil prices down over $10 for midweek. So far, the base is all in.
We're in a war because I think you would agree we cannot let lunatics have a nuclear weapon. Do you agree?
News for today. National security and foreign policy. Troop withdrawals. The Pentagon has confirmed the United States will withdraw approximately 5,000 troops from Germany over the next 6 to 12 months. President Trump also indicated he probably will pull troops out of Italy and Spain, citing a lack of support during recent international conflicts. Iran conflict. National security experts report that the tables on Iran, though some analysts warn the Iranian regime is currently buying time during negotiations. Reports suggest the cost of the conflict has reached nearly $50 billion. World Cup update. FIFA has given the green light for Iran to play its scheduled matches in the US-based World Cup later this year, despite ongoing diplomatic tensions. National news and politics. WHCA dinner investigation. The DOJ has released new video and haunting images regarding the